Okay, I'm just going to do a quick demo of how to convert existing XUnit tests over to using Verify. The first step is pulling the NuGet package. Verify has targets for each unit testing framework. So in this case, we want Verify.Xunit. Now, normally you'd convert tests over one by one over a process of time. But in this case, we want to see the start and finish. So I want to have a side-by-side comparison as we go. So I'll just duplicate test file. And I'll just take a quick second to illustrate the tests and the class we are testing. So it's a simple class, just returns, it keeps a state of a list of people. You can find a single person or you can find all. We've got tests for both those scenarios. And we have asserts for all the properties. Some of asserts are omitted just to keep the noise down. And you can see the test pass. Now, XUnit has some contextual state that Verify needs access to perform the verification, and that is the only way we can get access to that is a base class. So we'll pull in the Verify base class. Now, Resharper does a pretty poor job of detecting caller info attributes, so it's incorrectly injected a source file here where we don't need it because it's a caller file path. So we just delete that and the compiler will inject it for us. Now to convert the first test over, we'll call the base method verify. It just takes in any instance. Now because the resultant files of these are written, the snapshots are written to disk, all of the methods inside verify for entry points are actually async. So we need to await that. And now we can run this. Now, a quick aside, the first time you verify any instance, you'll notice the temp file that it creates is a received. Now, we don't want that committed to source control. So we'll just omit that. So star.received.star. It finishes with star because depending on what type of thing you're verifying, the result may be a PNG, it might be HTML, so it needs to be a star. Okay, now let's just rerun that test and go back into that scenario. Okay, so when a test fails, even the first time, it pops up a comparison tool. Verify is aware of what comparison tools are installed on your machine, and it picks the most appropriate one based on your environment and the type of thing you're actual verifying. So in this case, we've received a person, it's done a JSON serialization on that instance, and it's saying there's nothing currently verified. Now, to verify a file, there's a few different ways you can do it. We could copy this content over here. We could manually edit the files on disk. You could use your tooling to move that content into the verified file, and this on compare of cases swap. But Verify also, as a convenience, puts in a command line option which performs the verification. So if you look in our clipboard at the moment, I paste in here, you can see it's moving the received over to verified. So if I paste that into a console, what's happened is we now have our verified file here. So if I rerun this, So you can see beyond compare is closed because when the test passes, Verify is aware of the fact that beyond compare was showing us the difference for this file, and it's now that it's passed, we don't need to do a comparison anymore, so it's closed the diff tool for you. So let's apply that to multiple values. Oh, again, we need to make it a async. And again, the first time we verified this, so we have a received file verified, no content over, so let's verify that. Now we can see all the tests run. So you can see by convention, the resultant files are named based on the current test. So they are isolated and don't overlap with each other. So now let's go and add some more functionality and see how a second verification behaves. So in this case, I'm going to add, I know age should be calculated, but it's an easy thing to introduce. So let's introduce an age. I'm not going to bother with math. Let's just introduce some values. Now, effectively, the result of this method has changed. And if you're diligent, you'll remember to go and change all the tests that use that state. But with snapshot testing, that state will automatically show up as different when you rerun your tests. So again, we can see that extra members have been shown for both. And you can see that since multiple tests have failed, multiple instances of the diff tool have shown up. Now again, we can verify this. Now all the tests will pass and the diff tool closes. Now let's introduce a bug. Let's say 25 is the correct value. Let's change it to 45. Let's rerun our tests. Now you can see our old tests are still passing over here, but our new tests have correctly identified 45 and 25. Now that's not the correct result, so we don't want to accept that change. So we go and find the bug, we fix it, we change it back to 25, we rerun, our tests will pass, and the diff tool closes. Okay, that's all I have to show at the moment. Thanks for your time.